murder case to focus on the shooting incident. They told the court that the evidence that Jowie did not know the victim personally is insincere and produced call data that spoke to their relationship. The convict had asked the court to find that he had no motive to kill the victim. However, the family told the court that motive here was irrelevant for the purpose of proof of murder. In their case, the defense told the court that the production of the pair of shots was hot air, as clothes were generic, and that nothing could identify them specifically out of any clothes of the same kind. They also alleged that there was a lot of contradictions in the prosecution's witness testimonies, including time when Aaron Dominic entered the compound and left. It was said he accessed the house at 8 p.m., while the documented time was 11 p.m., giving him a period of only 10 minutes in the house, which he said was not sufficient to commit the crime and leave. On the stolen identity, the defense told the court that the person who the court is invited to deem as the first accused is actually Aaron Dominic Bisera and not Joseph Jowie Irungu, and that other witnesses didn't speak to a bag which he is said to have used to carry a kanzu, which was never found by the investigators. The convict also told the court that he did not personally know the deceased, hence questioned how he would have known of her return from Juba, South Sudan. In his defense, he produced his identity card to show it was different from that of one Aaron Dominic Bisera, who was the one cleared by the guards at Lemuria Garden apartment to enter Monica's house. Jowie will then attempt to shift the spotlight to the slain woman's boyfriend, Yasser Mohammed, telling the court because of a text message saying, "Kuja unisaidie kulala," translated as "come help me sleep," alleging that if it got to him, he would have been angry, infuriated, and even annoyed. He could have committed the crime. The two unknown male DNA found in the strapping used to tie the victim was also questioned and mentioned as possible criminals. The allegation from Brian Kasaine over the request for paraffin at 2 a.m. to burn some items was also dismissed by the defense as untrue, and that the pair of shots produced by the prosecution with bloodstains of the victim is not the same shot that the police collected from the suspect's house, and that his had no blood stains. On the identification parade, the convict told the court that the whole process was flawed and that no other person was subjected to the parade. Further, the defense alleged an intention by the investigators to fix the suspect, mentioning the impounding of a wrong motor vehicle in the quest to implicate him. The convict had mentioned meeting his friend Jennings, who was said to have driven the second accused's car. This was also impeached as untrue, since Jennings had his own car on that day. In a futile attempt, the defense also attempted to shift focus to the victim's boyfriend, alleging no adequate investigations were conducted to determine if Yasser Mohammed was actually in the country at the time the murder was committed. The court, however, determined that he indeed knew the deceased Monica Kimani prior to her death, that he stole and used the stolen identity card to access the Lemuria Garden apartment, that the clothes he was wearing also implicated him in the commission of the offense. He was indeed in the deceased's house on the 19th of September and was the last person with the deceased, that he had a gun that night that was used to subdue the deceased. He was also positively identified in the parade. In summary, the prosecution indeed provided adequate evidence to the court that Jowie Irungu indeed committed the murder according to the evidence. So, it was 3 hours, 30 minutes of interaction at the Lemuria Garden apartment, house number A8. 50 photographs were taken by the investigators as evidence. Jowie Irungu spent 18 months in remand. He was granted a bail of 2 million shillings. 35 witnesses were listed by the prosecution as witnesses. 2 judges sat on the case. 5 years of trial. And of course, this has been one of Kenya's most followed up case. Joseph Irungu, a very self-aware and stylish young man with a taste for good things, and Jackie Maribe, a disgraced TV queen who got off a case that would have changed her life forever. The charge was murder. The verdict, guilty as charged. The punishment, death. Joseph Irungu is set to appeal. Ken Mijungu, KTN News.